A wise man once said that everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. That man was Albert Einstein. Many of you know him to be a man of high intellectual esteem, but his intellect was not judged upon his ability to kick a soccer ball, nor was it judged by his ability to climb a tree. In fact, most people know him to be quite uninterested in athletics at all. Others also know him to be a boy that was poor at many things, one thing even being his studies. Amazing, isn't it, that a school would consider Einstein to be below the average intelligence? I believe that happens far too often to many young men and women in the American school system. An academic arena that I, too, have struggled through. I bring my genius to your attention not only with a frustration with the school system where a dyslexic young man feels as if it is impossible to succeed, but also with an encouraging word for those who find it difficult to feel successful in their academics. Growing up with dyslexia was difficult, and I often felt behind in school. I struggled for a majority of my academic career, wondering if I was ever going to succeed at anything. I read books about the gift of dyslexia and waited for that gift to present itself, but it never showed up on my report cards. So dear teachers of past academic experience and peers that have encouraged me along the way today, I have discovered that I, Jonathan Heller, am a genius. Yes, a tortured soul stuck in the confinements of my own society and young age, and like most geniuses have realized my misunderstood brain only to be a present state of frustration that will inevitably unfold into a future string of events including great achievements and works that will benefit all of mankind. The realization of my unreasonable intelligence primarily comes from the fact that I, like most geniuses, have consistently failed to be accomplished in most things in my life. Despite my obnoxiously loud demeanor in all situations, an awkwardly abrasive way of beginning conversations, which I personally only see to be further evidence of my tortured genius mind, I have brilliantly made the obvious connections between the misunderstood lives of geniuses that have come before me and the life that I now lead. Such names I look back on include Einstein, Da Vinci, Fitzgerald, Newton, Plato, and the men who invented the paperclip. These men have lived life misunderstood, but have lived respected. And misunderstood indeed. Most scholars have yet even to realize that all of Fitzgerald's works were loosely based on the actions of two mice that would fight to pick up crumbs of cheese and bread that would fall from the table of Gertrude Stein, when on Tuesday nights she would invite Fitzgerald, Dolly, Woody Allen, and Hemingway over for a game of craps, and occasionally some gin rummy, their favorite game. Picasso was never invited to these game nights on account of his constant fights with Hemingway. Picasso was obsessed with painting outside the numbers, which ultimately was the beginning of French Impressionism, and Hemingway followed coloring books to the letter. One time they put on boxing gloves and Hemingway broke his nose. The work of a genius is often misinterpreted to be something that it is not. That is no secret. Therefore, I would push to say that the extent of my biology tests of my junior year, in which I had drawn elaborate illustrations of my science teacher and Gallagher defending a crowd of young vampires, whom with unbeknownst to them, contained the child that would one day grow up to be famous actor and celebrated handsome man Ashton Kutcher, from Armed Gargoyles, to not be deserving of their pronounced grades of failure. Instead, I moved that these drawings were natural stepping stones to the slowly progressing childhood of the creative genius, who has realized the little importance that atoms play into daily life. It seems to me that the fact that I cannot succeed in any area of life that I have yet to stumble upon is leading to an untapped diamond mine of instinctual knowledge within a skill still unknown to me. This is practically the identical story of so many men of greatness. One man of such stature was Benjamin Franklin, a gentleman and a scholar. It is widely known by the scholars of Wikipedia that Benjamin was clinically depressed at a young age. Young Benjamin struggled to find success in life. Doing poor in school, sports, the arts, and music resulted in many insecurities in a small social circle, which consisted of light bulbs that he would glue googly eyes onto. Young Benjamin knew what it meant to fail, and he did so without grace. However, one evening while playing in a lightning storm with his bulb friends, which was an early sign of the boy's adventurous tendencies, Benjamin was struck by lightning. Fascinated by his bulb friend's reaction to absorbing the electrical current, Benjamin pursued a newfound passion in the field of electronic engineering, a field he himself actually founded. Best Buy has Benjamin to thank. Benjamin Franklin has lived one of many lives that are formed by failure. These great men have given the word underdog a whole other meaning, and is no longer just a way to push your friend on a swing. Underdog, the word itself rings with vigilance and myriads of unsung ability. As a self-proclaimed underdog, I expect to do just that. The similarities between the young man who stands before you today and the young Benjamin Franklin are astonishingly obvious. Thus I see it only as clear logic to give oneself their rightful name. Was it not Freud who said the best tool to use when thinking is your brain? Use your brain. Accept me as a genius. And though my speech is slightly satirical in nature, as I do not actually believe myself to be a literal genius, I present it this way to make a point. I did not provide statistics or case studies about geniuses, nor did I give you a list of reasons where I believe the school systems could improve. But what I did try to do is give you a glimpse into the mind of a young man whose academic abilities are weak, and so he entertains the literal meaning of Einstein's words. A young man that for so long has felt like a fish, judged by his ability to climb a tree, and who feels forced to convince himself a genius in something other than his school achievements, lest he feel like a failure at all walks in life. So my final words are for the students out there who, like me, find it difficult to feel successful. Remember not your failures, for our genius is not measured in our inadequacies, but in our passions. Thank you.